Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today we're about to watch the so expected Nick Fluentes Present Feet podcast. I think this will go brutal. I've been telling you that we are gonna know who this Nick is, and yesterday we saw for the first time he talking, but it was like 2 minutes. So now we are gonna entirely see the whole podcast and probably we'll probably end there, but it might have a possibility of maybe tomorrow we see the show with the females because to be honest guys, I spent some time afternoon watching the females podcast on the Friends and Feed, and I could have done the review right, but I didn't. I was just enjoying, and yeah, actually, this is what it is. But tomorrow we'll go watch some chicks and fresh and fit because for some time we didn't, and I know you all enjoyed that too. So let's go.
A special guest in the house, Nick fucking Fuentes, baby! Let's get into it!
Let's go.
Now we got a special guest in the house, Nick Fuentes. Real quick before we get into the show, well, actually, do we got to kill the Twitch and Facebook stream already? Because he's probably bad off those, right?
We probably should.
Yeah.
Right away.
Right away. Come on over to YouTube, guys. YouTube, type Fresh Shit Fit or Rumble, rumble.com/Fresh Fit. We're dual streaming this thing on Rumble and YouTube, and we're probably going to have to take the rest of the interview on YouTube. Or Rumble, sorry. Definitely not YouTube. So real quick announcements, guys. Rumble.com/FreshFit. I got it there in the banner because today's episode is definitely going to have to go to Rumble, but we're going to start off here on YouTube for y'all and keep it somewhat YouTube clean before we go over there. But Rumble.com/FreshFit. Also check us out on freshfit.locals.com. Get all the behind the scenes content, guys. That's safe. Also, FreshFit and
so weird because the first time I saw him, he was with suits. So now he's kind of more casual, let's say.
Fit store as well, where you guys get the t-shirts, hoodies, all the merch is there. And then also check out our Clips channel, guys. We've been going pretty hard on the Clips channel, man. We're almost at 40 million views for the month, man. So it's been going really well. So go ahead, check it out, man. Fresh to Fit Clips on there. Trying to get it to 1 million. So go ahead and subscribe to that channel. 80% of y'all that are watching that channel are not subscribed. And also, more Fresh Fit Clips is our other Clips channel. So if you guys don't got time to watch full pod, go ahead and check out the Clips channel. And then check us out on Spotify. We're posting on there every single day. Mo's on top of it. And then also, Fresh, you want to talk about your blog?
Yes, guys, we're going to be in Colombia this month, actually. I'm super excited. If you want to see our vlogs lifestyle, go check out the vlog channel. 200 kind away. Let's go. And then join the network, man. We're going to be there as well. Adding value, giving value. Go check it out.
And then check me out, guys, on Fed Reacts, guys. Over there, I break down criminal cases. If you guys like true crime, well, I do it over there. I cover everything from serial killers. The last episode I did, I reviewed New Mech from Ryan Dawson, Nick's best friend, where I covered how a certain state that won't be named stole the nuclear bomb from the United States. So go ahead and check it out over there on Fed Reacts. And also, don't forget to go ahead and get my book, Why Women Deserve Less, because they do deserve less. Book's only about 80 pages, can deserve less. Amazon bestseller, go get it. And then also, guys, do me a quick favor. Go check out Nick on cozy.tv/Nick. Link is below. That's his own website, by the way. How did that come about?
Well, I had to invent it because I got banned from everything. So, made my own.
So, Nick, I know who you are. Fresh knows who you are. I think our audience is pretty familiar with you as well and all the grapers out there. But can you introduce yourself to the people who may not know who you are?
Well, I'm Nicholas Shea Fuentes. I'm kind of the most banned man, I think, in the world, or I'm certainly up there.
Yeah.
But I'm a live streamer. I do a show Monday through Friday. It's called America First. I run a nonprofit, and I basically been the leader of the dissident right for like the last 4 years in America.
Absolutely. So, but going back, because obviously, everyone knows, Nick Fuentes now, but I want to get to know Nick from before. Pause. Can you tell us a little bit about like your upbringing and background? You're very religious. I want to kind of see how'd you get there?
Sure. Well, I didn't actually start out super religious. I mean, I was born Catholic. I was baptized Catholic, but I was a pretty normal guy for most of my life.
I'm going to be honest. He looks way different than the first time I saw him. He looks cooler. Nicer.
I mean, I went to high school and I was always very political, but I was really more like a mainstream person. Like if you met me when I was 14, 15 years old, I mean, I was as political as I am now, believe it or not. But my views were totally consistent with anything you'd see on Fox News or libertarians, Republicans, that sort of thing. And so it wasn't until I got to college, wasn't until I got to Boston University after the Trump election that I really came into the red pill. You know, I got red pilled, so to speak. And I reverted back to my religion. Not that I ever went away, but I really became truly a Catholic. And I became a right-wing extremist that I am today. So, you know,
according to Wikipedia, right?
Right.
And you, so you actually found your religion more so when you went to college, went to Boston.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people go to college, they become liberal. I went there crazy. I did the opposite.
Yeah.
I became a reactionary.
Was there a moment in time that, like, for example, an event happened that made you say, you know what, let me get closer to God? Or was it more like it just happened?
No, it was a real event. You know, I went to Boston University and I'd never lived away from home. I never lived outside of Chicago, which is where I grew up. And it was one thing that precipitated it specifically. Maybe you guys don't remember because this was kind of like, if you weren't paying close attention, you wouldn't have noticed it. But in October 2016, this was when we first heard about Russia and the Russia Gate, the Russia stuff. And if you remember, Joe Biden, then the vice president, comes out and does a press conference because Obama was talking about meddling in the election.
Yeah.
And Biden comes out and says, well, you know, we're going to retaliate. And I remember thinking there's a good chance Clinton becomes president and we're in a nuclear war with Russia, kind of like where we are now, which is scary. You know, there are some developments today with these cluster munitions. And so I remember in October 16th thinking like, okay, the world's going to end. Like it's over. We're done. We're all going to die. And I remember thinking like, there's got to be more. You know, I wake up, I eat my 3 meals, I go to my classes, wake up, rinse, repeat. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm a person that wants meaning in my life. I'm a person that has consciousness. There's got to be more than the routine. There's got to be more than the physical. And so that was the first time I went out to the bookstore there. Maybe you remember, I know you went to school close by. I went to the Barnes & Noble on Commonwealth Ave by the big Citgo sign.
I know exactly where that's at.
You know right where that is,
yeah.
by Kenmore. And I bought a Bible, my first Bible. I read the Bible. And
so funny. I bought my first Bible. I went to Snack. And yeah, I was there and I bought my first Bible. And still have it. Still the same. Still didn't remember to read it again. But for sure, today I'm going to read after finish this book. I will not go to sleep if I don't read my Bible today. But yeah, it's always memorable because it's something that you really did good. Like it's a great thing you did, way more than anything else you could have done. So
and I read some other books and I watched videos, and
it's literally the book of how you should behave in this world and how you can achieve greatness and be happy.
You know, like I said, I was baptized Catholic, but I really started to believe. I really developed this sort of spiritual consciousness. So it was that in particular. I was afraid of Hillary Clinton, basically.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Wow. So, because most people go off to college and become way more liberal, they become less religious, they become, oh yeah, let's hug the trees. And especially Boston. I mean, I could speak from experience here. You know, I graduated college in 2013. When you went, it was worse. I'll never forget. I went back to Boston back in like 2015. I had a Make America Great hat again, and everyone was harassing me. It was bad.
How old was he? How old is he? I want to say Nick Fuentes. Maybe he's my age. He looks younger than me. That would be crazy. No, he's my age. He's exactly the same year than me. I'm older than him by months, but he's my age. Funny.
You know what I mean? So it's only gotten worse. And you were there. How long did you stay at BU before you left?
I was there for 2 semesters. I was there from September 16 until May 17.
Well, and what was that like being over there as a conservative, a religious conservative?
Well, it was brutal. I mean, because I was there during the Trump election.
Yeah.
So I got on campus and the election was 2 months later. And I was kind of like famous when I got on the campus, because I wore the MAGA hat everywhere.
Yes.
That was like what I was known for.
Yep.
People were like talking shit about me on Yik Yak. You remember? Maybe that was a little after you were in 2013. So I think it was a little after.
I was gone,
but
I went back a few times, you know, to hang out with old friends because a bunch of my teammates were still in school. So I would go back every now and then. But sorry, continue.
Sure. So people were talking shit about me on the Facebook group and on the Yik Yak page saying, oh, there's that kid with the MAGA hat on in the dining hall. And people would come up and literally attack me. Like people would come up. I remember I was in the line to get like pizza at the dining hall, and this black chick comes up in the hijab and everything, and she rolls.
This is very unhealthy. He's gonna just kill him.
Up, and she's like,
Yeah, this is him back the America Great, the MAGA hat and everything else like that.
That was a little later. That was like 2020. But yeah, I mean, that's me in a MAGA hat. You know, and I'd be in the dining hall. This black chick rolls up and starts berating me. I'm in the line to get food, telling me, you know, you got to justify the Muslim ban and all this. And so I was harassed. There was a lot of death threats. But that was also how I got my start. Because within the first 2 months, there was this big firestorm on Twitter because I was pumping out tweets. Stuff that was edgy at that time. I was pumping stuff out, you know, feminism sucks, multiculturalism's cancer. Pretty like mild, you know, by today's standards. But back then, this was hot stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And so I was pushing this stuff out. And I was contacted by this group, Young Americans for Liberty, this like libertarian group. And they said, we want to set up a debate with you and one of your detractors because it was blowing up on social media. I said, I'm down. This almost didn't even happen. They were looking for somebody. Nobody wanted to do it. The student body president of Boston University stepped up to debate me. I'm like a freshman. I was there for a month.
Yeah.
And I'm debating the student body president. So they set it up. We did it in I forget the venue.
Was it a female?
No, it was a guy.
Oh,
some gay guy.
No, of course.
Yeah,
of course, at BU. Yeah,
he was wearing a beanie.
Yeah,
I was making fun of him for that.
There's a reason why they say sucks to be you.
Yeah, well, it sucked to be him for sure that night.
So you debate him to take us through that.
So it was like 300 people showed up. It's like a big deal for because we weren't like e-celebrities or anything. It's like 300 people show up, and I go out there. It's like a week before the election, and I'm like, you know what? Trump is going to win. And I just go off because they're all liberals, all women in the audience. And I pop off. People love it. There's this girl in the audience named Cassie Dillon.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard of her, but at that time she was working for Daily Wire. She was working for Ben Shapiro.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. So she periscopes the whole thing on Twitter and it's blowing up. Thousands of people watching. She texts Ben Shapiro because she's working for him at this time. And she says, Ben, I just discovered this guy. I still have the screenshot. She's like, you got to take him under your wing. He's the greatest thing. And so she comes up and interviews me after the debate. And, you know, we do a little post-game recap, whatever. And the last thing she asked me, and, you know, I don't know, I'm not going to say the country, but she says, one last question. Would you ever take a trip to... the country?
Motherland.
The motherland.
And we'll talk about the tweet, too, that got you viral with him. Because I want the people to know that tweet. We'll talk about that on Rumble, guys. Don't worry. Sorry.
Totally, yeah. Because that's some good lore. Yeah. So she asked me that, and I tell her, and this is before I'm even fully red-pilled. I said, Cassie, I said, I have everything I need right here in America.
Yeah.
And I'm America first.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so that was sort of like how I made a splash. I start getting a Twitter following. I get introduced to all these guys at Daily Wire.
Yeah.
That's when I started to run into problems, though, you know, because and this is sort of a lot of people don't know this about me. People look at me and they say, oh, he's another David Duke. He's another Richard Spencer. I was going to be the next Shapiro, Will Witt, you know, whatever. Basically being groomed like all these other young college Republicans. I was on that track to be a normie conservative influencer. But it happened to coincide with the Trump election, where Trump was raising some very interesting points. Like when he goes out and says America first, that creates a big problem for the system that we have.
Yeah.
Because the system is basically predicated on foreign influence and corruption. And so when one guy goes up and says America first, suddenly it's a big problem for the people that want Iraq war, Afghanistan war, Syria war, war with Russia, whatever, free trade for that matter, TPP. And so I start asking these questions of all these guys at Daily Wire saying, hey, man, what's the deal with the foreign aid? You know, what's the deal with the war? What's the deal with the Security Council vote? You know, at that time, Obama, and I didn't like Obama, but I defended him in December 16. He goes out there and he allowed the United States to abstain on the Security Council vote where they were condemning Israel. Everyone freaked. They said, he's an anti-Semite. He's the worst guy ever. I said, hang on a second. We owe them, you know, we owe them that we have to give them this unconditional diplomatic support no matter what. I wrote this big article about it. I'm pushing tweets and they basically told me, and here I am still under the impression that it's a free marketplace of ideas. You know, we're the right wings of patriot movement. And they come and tell me, they say, hey, listen, you got to stop asking these questions. Stop talking about this. Yeah. You know, we'll answer it privately, but you're basically making too much of a fuss about this stuff. You got to drop it. And I said, I'm not going to drop it. Like, this is legit. I mean, you got to give me answers or you gotta let me ask. And I got a text from Cassie Dillon. I want to say, I don't know, several months into 2017, I'm still at BU. And she says, listen, we are not in the same movement. You keep asking these questions. You are alt-right. You are an anti-Semite. I'm never going to talk to you ever again. She was like, we're
just for asking the question about foreign aid.
Yeah.
Just for asking about foreign aid. Wow.
Mild stuff. Not even like what I'm on now.
Yeah. Well,
which is more.
Which we'll talk about that on Rumble.
Right.
Some of your more controversial views. But that's wild, though, that like just off of that alone, very simple stuff like, hey, some foreign aid. What's going on with this? Oh, no, what are you doing? Right. So, wow. So real quick, we talked about Trump. 2016, he gets elected president. Where were you, and what went through your mind? Because I'll tell you this, I was fucking shocked when that happened. I was down in Laredo, Texas, on the Mexican border. I was shocked when that went down. Where were you at, and what was it like?
It was the best day ever. I mean, literally, like one of the best days of my life, without even joking, no exaggeration. I mean, I was there on campus, and I was getting attacked for months.
Of course, people
just literally yelling at me in the street, confronting me in the dining hall. And so I remember
it's real, dude. I remember when I wore the hat, like it is real. Like they will, like back then, they would attack you in Boston. Physical violence for you being a Trump supporter. It was crazy, dude.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah. I think it was actually worse then than it is now.
It's way worse back then. It was way worse because I remember like they looked at it like this is a joke. This guy's the apprentice. He's not going to win. He's a white supremacist. They're saying all kinds of crazy stuff about Trump back then. He hates black people. He hates Arabs. He hates Muslims. He hates everybody. There's no way he's going to make it. So it was like a joke. So if you wore the hat, they kind of like looked at it like we can attack him because it's a joke, right? Then they kind of like had this veil of like he's not going to win. But when he actually won, it became real. Right. They all flipped out and they went crazy. And speaking of which, real quick, that debate, you smoked that guy, didn't you?
Which debate?
The one, but you.
The first one.
Talking about it.
Totally. It was brutal.
Do you remember, what was the biggest dunk on him that you remember that you?
I don't remember. I mean, this is so long ago. It was almost 5 years. It's 7.
Nah, there had to be like
7 years. Damn.
One standout moment though. Like, where did you? What topic was that you just dunked on him on?
I think there was one part, because at that time they were hitting Trump with all the sex assault allegations. You remember that?
Yeah.
And we never heard from those people ever again,
minus
the civil suit that just happened recently. But back then, he raped 12 women, this and that. And so I remember they asked me about that in the audience question. And I basically said, they're liars. Like, I don't believe any women. This is even before Me Too. And the room lit up.
Of course.
People were leaving like crying because that was like the era, like the triggered SJWs.
Yeah.
People freaked out.
To give everyone just perspective, like back then, if you came up with an accusation, they believed you. There was no like.
Yeah, that's the problem, guys. Back there, now it's still some time type of way like this, but back then it's like someone say that you just believe it. If a female say you committed charges, people just believe it. It was crazy. Although they were lying a lot of times, and we see a lot of celebrities going to these. Our friend states one of the examples, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Lies, and people get offended and defends immoral people without values who are destroying reputation of men and are putting them in jail for life for something they never commit. It's crazy.
Like the false accusations weren't a thing for celebs. Like if someone came at a celeb back then, 100% he did it, right? And now we know, right? This E. Carroll woman, right? She went on fucking CNN and said, "You can rape someone emotionally."
Yeah,
this is the clown world that we're in. So like, it was all bullshit. And I don't know where any of these women are now that claim this shit. And the only reason that Trump lost that civil suit, by the way, for all you guys out there, is
he didn't care.
Posted on my Instagram. Yeah, he didn't care
at all.
Bro, there's a clip. You know what, Chris? Pull up the clip. Type in Trump deposition tells the lawyer you're not attractive. I'll play that clip real quick for y'all. That's why he basically lost, because he didn't give a fuck. He went to that deposition and didn't care. But sorry, going back. Election night, he wins 2016.
Yeah, so I was, there were very few Trump supporters on the campus. I think it was literally like 4. And like, I knew all of them because we all met at the big Fox News debate viewing party. And anyway, so we were all in my buddy's dorm room. And, I thought he had a good chance of winning. I actually had money on it. I think I bet $1,000 that Trump would win. I put money down in the second debate when he went out there and said, because you'd be in jail. I ran to my laptop. I put like $1,000 on Trump on PredictIt because I'm like, he just won, but I wasn't sure because, you remember how it was. It's like you said, it wasn't real until it happened.
Yeah.
So we were there. We were chilling. We didn't even have a TV.
I was shocked. I thought Hillary had it. Like you had all the feminists going crazy. I was like, dude, she's gonna win. This is like no way. But
you and everybody else, right? I mean, 97% Huffington Post.
That's it again. I just saw a podcast which I could have do a review just so you could give the example. Females tell something, are very against something. Oh, we are equal. We are the same. I like guys who cry and make jokes and are simps. And then they go for the men, the masculine men who handle his business, is masculine, says no, and dominant. So I bet a bunch of these feminists was very against. Probably 40 to 60% or more vote for Trump. I'm pretty sure. It's just crazy, like the lies and lack of values from a lot of, to be honest, a lot of these women. I'm not gonna lie, is just crazy.
Right? Yeah. And so I was there in the apartment and we're watching the news.
I believe if there wasn't so many lies, there wouldn't be so many simps. It's just as simple as that.
There are times, and you remember those, they had these dials, you know, and they said she's got a 99% chance winning. And as the night went on, you know, it just went further and further. And we just, as the night went on, we were going crazy. We're like, he did it. Like he memed his way into the White House. And so it's nuts.
He did though, right? His Instagram is all jokes, like making fun of Biden and making fun of everybody. Ron DeSantis, like it's hilarious.
Well, the Twitter was nuts. I mean, back in 2016, I mean, people forget. I always make it a point to say this when I do interviews. It's like Trump today is way more mild compared to 2016. He was going out there and said, like, we're going to ban all the Muslims in the United States. What? Like,
he said, I'll never forget this. He said, we're going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it. And I was like, what the fuck? This guy's crazy. Because I was on the Mexican border at the time. And everyone was like, no way it's going to happen. And I was like, fucking like, this nigga's crazy. and when he won, I was like, what the fuck? Like,
well, and you remember he goes up there and he's like, well, my brother built a security apparatus that kept us safe, Jeb Bush. And Trump goes, and you could see like he got charged up. That bothered him because the audience was cheering for Jeb. He goes, the World Trade Center came down under your brother. And they were like, what? Like, he blamed him for 9/11. This was nuts.
Yo.
And anyway, so we were like, this is just the best thing ever. And we went to all the viewing parties because they were hosting.
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like today I miss out in so much. Like, I could be on these. I had friends who were on these, and I was not aware of politics in America. A lot of the things I do now, like OMEDs, the hormones that goes human growth hormone, trainings, all of. I just wish I knew this way back then, and I just wish I had the mentality that I have now when I was way younger.
Hosting these viewing parties all over the campus, and we went waving the Trump flag with the hats. Fuck you, you know, Trump's your president. 8 years, bitch. You know,
I can imagine all the like white girl family. Just going crazy, bro. Just losing their shit, man. Because I'm telling y'all, man, Boston is way different, right? Like I can only imagine what it's like now with like the 99 genders and fucking them being super politically correct over there. Like it's bad now. It's way worse. So
after he won the election, were people still trying to fight you at school after that?
Yeah, it got worse. I mean, so me and my buddy the day after, we went to the Harvard yard or whatever, the Harvard common area to troll. You know, we brought the flag, we brought the hats.
Dude, we won.
Literally.
Oh, y'all went to Harvard Square?
Yeah.
Oh, the Red Line.
Yeah. See, you know. Big mistake.
Okay, let me paint a picture for you. This area is like huge. Like this is where tourists come, college students. It's huge, and it's a big T stop. Like the T is the train for Boston, right? It goes all through the city. So like that's a huge area. So like, yo, y'all are crazy for that.
I can only imagine Nick and his boy like, fuck you, dude, we won, motherfuckers.
Did y'all have like the Patriot hats on and shit?
Oh yeah, we had the MAGA hat, the flags, the whole thing, you know.
Yeah, you want your ass shirts. You want your ass beat, bro.
Niggas turned that shit to the Boston Tea Party. It's back. It's back. All right, sorry.
We almost got our asses kicked, you know, because we took the red line to get over there.
Yeah.
And somebody ran by and snatched my buddy's hat. People were heckling us. We jump on the tee, and a bunch of homeless guys come up, and they're like, hey, you know, we're going to beat the fuck out of you at the next stop. And we're like, we got to get out of here. We jump off the train, not even at our stop, out of the frying pan into the fire. There's like a whole gang of black guys there. They're like, yo.
Did y'all get off at like Roxbury?
I don't remember.
Okay.
So many years ago, but it wasn't our stop. You know, so we're like, we just got to get out of here. This guy's like got a fucking glass bottle. So we jump off the thing. And this group of black kids, they start, yo, fuck that hat, bro. Yo, fuck me. And they start losing their minds.
Everyone's pissed.
Oh,
after.
Yeah, rage. You know, so we just booked it. We just got out of Dodge.
Yeah,
My niggas
that's crazy. Like,
that's my boys,
they
man.
went out there, they just like said, you know what? Fuck it, we won it. We gonna rub it in the salt. We put the salt in the wounds, baby.
My boy said red flag.
Yeah.
Coming at you. Them niggas, man.
Yo, man.
It's a wrong neighborhood.
Oh shit. Okay.
ready?
So speaking of which, so Trump wins, right? Y'all go on the trolling thing. Real quick, I got the video here. You guys want to know why Trump won that? Because just to bring it back,
It's gonna be funny, bro.
long story short, this woman came out, accused Trump of raping her back in like 96 or some bullshit like that. This E. Carroll lady, she's an author, writes a book about, you know, her life, and then most importantly, writes about her getting raped by Trump. So this, I don't know if y'all know this. So this is what happened with the story. She releases an excerpt from the book to a newspaper, and it goes crazy, right? Like that's the first time the allegations were made out publicly, etc. It goes crazy. So she says, "Okay, I'm going to put this in my book, and I'm going to go on a tour." Then she launches a civil lawsuit. So it's like, bro, you're going to launch a lawsuit. You're going to put the excerpt out from your book of one of the most traumatic times in your life to sell a book, and you're telling me that it's not on some bullshit? Like, come on, man. So right here, guys, so this is a deposition, right? Because it's a civil case, so Trump cannot assert the Fifth Amendment privilege of staying silent. He has to answer the questions. So he's there. They're asking him questions. This part is hilarious. Here, just hit play.
When you said in that video that Ms. Leeds would not be your first choice, you were referring to her physical looks, correct?
Just the overall, not, I look at her, I see her, I hear what she says, whatever. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted. I would not, under any circumstances, have any interest in you. I'm honest when I say it. I would not have any interest in.
The video.
Bro. And just so y'all know, that's a lawyer asking me these questions. He's basically saying, I would have smashed her and I would have smashed you either. Like, what the fuck? You know, and I think just the fact that he didn't care, his lawyer didn't he didn't give a fuck about the deposition. That's why he lost. Because just so you guys know, civil cases, the preponderance of the evidence, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily guilty or whatever. They just have to prove that you're culpable to a degree. 51% versus 49%. So he didn't give a shit. It was October 19th of 2022. He probably had some bitches he was fucking. He didn't give a shit about that deposition. He knew it was bullshit.
It was a joke, man.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? 2024 election. Who are you going to vote for? Who do you think the best candidate is? Who do you think sucks? Just give us your take.
Well, I haven't endorsed anybody yet. I mean, you know, I was a part of the Yay 24 team for a minute.
We're going to talk about that too.
Yeah. And at the same time, I also wasn't in love with Trump's announcement speech. I was actually very critical of the Trump announcement. Zerka gave me a real hard time about that. You know, he announced back in November.
Canadian. Who cares what he thinks?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't even vote.
Focus on Trudeau.
Yeah. Well, so I didn't like the announcement. I told him as much. I mean, we had dinner at Mar-a-Lago. I said, like, hey, man, I mean, bring the heat? Like, we want the old Trump back. And anyway, I think I'll most likely support him. I think he's by far and away the best candidate. I don't like anybody else. I mean, if it's not him, I'm not going to vote. I'm not obviously going to vote for Joe Biden. I'm not going to vote for Ron DeSantis. The reason I won't vote for DeSantis, I mean, maybe we'll get more into it on Rumble. Well, I mean, this guy, every criticism that I have about Trump,
I'm just gonna say this. Joe Biden, bro, he loses thoughts when he's talking, which is crazy. He's literally old dude stuff. His views is literally like, he's very associated to Matrix. I'll just say this.
It's like 10 times with DeSantis. Because, you know, I knew guys in the Trump administration. I knew a lot of guys who worked in the Trump administration. And the big gripe that everybody had was that Trump gets in, and who staffs the White House? It's the RNC. The RNC that fought him throughout the nomination process, throughout the primary, even the general. I mean, we could get into it, but They were the ones that hired everybody, the 4,000 or 5,000 people that fill up the Trump admin. They picked them. So all the worst people in the world. And there was this running gag. All the true believers that were there from the beginning stood by Trump through the Muslim ban stuff, everything else. The joke was, if you worked on the Trump campaign, it would actually count against you getting a job in the White House because they were hiring like the worst people ever. And anyway, so that was one of the big problems is hiring. Trump's going to hire all the wrong people. The other thing is that they said that Trump was insufficiently America first. He wound up doing all these deals for that country over there, recognize their sovereignty over Golan Heights, move the embassy, called the IRGC terrorists. He's doing backdoor regime change in Iran, all these kinds of things. And anyway, both of those things that you could say about Trump are doubly true of DeSantis. I mean, if anything, the lobby that we criticize Trump for being so in bed with, they back DeSantis way more. And the same thing is true of the hiring. If Trump made those mistakes back then, I think he's less likely to make them this time around. DeSantis, I know the people that are going to be staffing the DeSantis White House. I mean, I literally personally know them. They're worse than the Trump people. So, I mean, that in addition to the fact that what country did he visit before his announcement? 1 month before his announcement, he flies out there, talks to all the top donors, basically got their blessing. And you could go into it. I mean, he was a congressman. He was a governor. The only foreign trips he took as a congressman and as a governor,
but
all the same country.
Can I argue that maybe he's just playing a part to, become president, maybe?
I mean, that's certainly possible. I think Trump did the same thing.
But you know what? Why I like him because whatever he says, he does. But for the most part, if someone's going to be in office, well, if they say they're going to do something, they should do it.
He did a good job in Florida.
Yeah, that's what I can do. Florida was, even during those bear bug times, it was open.
Yeah,
thanks to him.
compared to other states.
I mean, I like him, man. I like him, but
I understand what you're saying because you're right. I mean, he is a good governor. He says a lot of the right things. The thing is about Trump is that Trump is truly an outsider. Like he really is fundamentally different than the rest of them. DeSantis,
agreed.
I apply more scrutiny because he's a true politician. And to your point, I look at the people that are backing him. And the people that are backing him who flipped from Trump to him, like, for example, Ken Griffin from Citadel. Ken Griffin's one of the big GOP donors, big Wall Street guy. He kind of leads that Wall Street donor block. He flipped his support from Trump to DeSantis in his reasoning. He said that, well, DeSantis isn't going to rock the boat. DeSantis is going to make sure that we get our so-called, prosperity, cut the taxes. It's not going to rock the boat, not going to do the culture war stuff.
Yeah.
And that signals to me that DeSantis is just another one of these establishment guys who's going to, like every Republican, going to cut the taxes, cut the spending in narrow, limited, not the military ever, by the way, and not DHS and never that, but it'll cut non-defense discretionary spending. And the rest of everything else will go on basically unaffected. So fundamentally, I just don't believe him. I think he's going to be totally bought and paid for by Wall Street, by these foreign countries. And, he has a luxury of being conservative in a state like Florida. I don't think he's going to have that luxury in the general election or in the White House.
Okay. Fair enough. What are your thoughts on the new Trump charges, the new federal charges that just came against him?
Well, it's bad. And, the thing is, I talked about this a lot on my show, and I look at these guys.
You talked about it a lot.
Yeah. We talked about it on that stream with Sneeko and Zerka. The thing is, I mean, if you look at the letter of the law, if you look at the statute, I think he's guilty. And I've said that. The issue with it is not, well, he's innocent or not guilty. The issue is that it's abuse of their discretionary power.
Yeah.
The question is, should a prosecutor go after a former president for a clerical issue, for classified documents? It's kind of BS.
Yeah.
That being said, he violated the statute. Like you read the statute.
But if the matrix says so, that's what they do.
You read the complaint against him. It's all right there.
Yeah.
So I think he's in serious trouble. And I think, and we talked about it just before the show, I think his best bet is drag it out as long as possible, pardon himself when he becomes the president.
Yeah. And that's the only the other big thing I like about DeSantis is that if he gets elected and Trump loses, I know he's going to pardon Trump.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to summarize it for some of you guys that might not be aware of the federal case, the New York case I'm not worried about. That's bullshit. It's basically they're hitting them with falsifying business records. It's a BS charge. But the federal one, the reason why I'm worried is because I've done, the 18 U.S.C. 793E charge before. It's an espionage charge. There's two things that I'm worried about. Number one, documents don't necessarily have to be classified to get hit with that charge. If it's national defense information, they can hit him with it, which he had that, right? Which is basically information that comes from the military. Number two, the indictment, if you guys read it, basically there's a lot of cooperators and informants in it, right? When one of them, they have a sound excerpt, he tells the lady in it, oh, this is secret stuff. Probably shouldn't be showing you this. I could have classified it when I was president, but I didn't. That immediately defeats the defense that he was going to use, which is I was president. I could have declassified this stuff. And let's say he did declassify the stuff. It doesn't matter. National defense information doesn't have to be classified. You can get hit with the espionage charge for just having it. So my thing is they obviously indicted him knowing that they're going to win. And they have 37 counts on him for it. And then there's another 13 that they didn't even charge him with because it's so classified that they didn't even want to have to, declassify so that it can be used in evidence. So they're going at him like this because they know that they can get him. Should they have charged him? No. But of course, the FBI, right, had a fucking hard on for him or whatever. So it is what it is. And my other concern too is that if you guys read the indictment, the lawyer, they said that they have lawyer notes memorialized. Why is this a problem? Well, a lawyer and his relationship with his client is considered privilege. You can't use that information. So if I go to let's say Nick is my lawyer and I rob the bank and I say, I robbed that bank, man, we got it. Yeah. That's privilege. You can't go to the feds. But if I get involved in the crime, right, as his lawyer, now that privilege is gone. So what ended up happening, guys, is that the lawyer, right, moved some documents out of the boxes for Trump and went to the FBI with those documents saying, here we go. The FBI made him sign a letter. Are these all the documents? Yes, it is. Unbeknown to him, Trump's aide, Natua, right, moved some of those documents. So the FBI gets the documents from the lawyers. They're like, wait, there's 100 missing. What the fuck? That's why they did the search warrant in August of last year, recover those 100 documents, and then they went back to lawyers. We got you guys by the balls. You signed this document saying we have everything. We don't. Y'all lied to us. Then, okay, we'll cooperate. Bam. That's how they have the memorialized notes. So that tells me not only the lawyers are going to testify against them, but the people at Mar-a-Lago that saw the documents in the first place to help them write their search warrant, all that shit. So I agree with you. The only way that he's going to beat this is he's got to drag it out to the election, either win and pardon himself or one of the other presidents pardons him. You think RFK would pardon him?
Yeah, I think he would, but I just don't think RFK has any chance. I think Biden's got it locked up on the Dem side. On
the low, I like RFK a lot. I've been watching his interviews. He's against Big Pharma, which I like. He's pretty based. He knows that there was a conspiracy to kill his uncle, which we'll talk about on Rumble. And it wasn't just the mafia. And yeah, he's not a typical Democrat, but yeah, I agree with you. There's no way he's fucking winning, bro.
Yeah, well, and here's the other thing. I don't think he's as good as everybody says. I like what you like, which is that he talks about, I don't know how much we could say on YouTube, but he does talk about Big Pharma and he talks about these COVID interventions.
Yeah.
I can't see a whole lot more, though, that I like. I mean, I think at one point he was talking about like fining people that deny climate change and these kinds of things. Very socially liberal. At the end of the day, he is a Democrat. I mean, I get the appeal. He's intelligent. He's well-spoken. He's anti-establishment.
His voice is going to piss a lot of people off, too.
That, too.
You have to get, if you guys ever listen to him talk, he has like a condition that like makes his voice sound very shaky or whatever. And as a president of the United States, image matters a lot. And they're going to be like, oh, well, you sound weird or whatever. He's very smart, but like it takes a while it's like whiskey. It grows on you. You got to drink more of it, I guess, to get used to it. But yeah, and then the other thing too is that he wants to go back to like the United States being like the moral authority. I don't think we should be intervening in other countries, right? Because then fucking bullshit. But yeah, sorry, you had anything else with that?
Yeah, no, just I'm not as gung ho. Like I said, I like the things you like, but I think people are a little too enthusiastic for him. We need to demand, in other words, like I think he represents this strain of compromise between the far right and far left that isn't super useful. He reminds me of like a Glenn Greenwald or like a Tulsi Gabbard type. And a lot of these people, what they have in common is they'll criticize a big pharma.
No, you're right. That's probably one of the most accurate summarizations I've seen of like where he stands.
Yeah, and I think that it's overstated how valuable that is, because the premise of this show and shows like it is that we really need a real return to tradition. Like when you talk about masculinity and women being submissive and marriage and reverting to religions, that seems to be everybody's doing that. That is what civilization needs. It needs strength, order, tradition, masculinity. And what I see these guys bringing forward is basically like liberalism, but less corrupt. They're like, we want to go back to like 90s liberalism. And it's like 90s liberalism brought us today's liberalism, you know, and like it's still liberal. So to me, it's just not.
Yeah, guys, like liberalism is the opposite of religion, Christianity. So, as I said multiple times, you can either follow one God, either you follow God from Christianity, so Jesus Christ, Father, let's say. It's kind of weird saying like this, but because we are all his sons. But either you follow God or you follow other stuff, right? You can follow riches, you can follow liberties, which the devil's side is literally the devil's side. So we cannot take away order. There are two genders, each gender has different obligations. There are rules that it gets to goodwill, behaving in love and passion, and there are certain vices that should not be allowed, and liberty is horrible.
Not good enough, and it's a step in the right.
Destroys all this, and look at where yet with. Females are all single mothers, crying at 30s, very old for not having a man. Men are without any type of relationship, just the top tier can get. Food is all poison, all food is poison, literally poisoned by people through steroids, hormones, literally poison itself in our food. Um, the pollution is crazy. Um, Evil people, evil organizations trying to control the world, put us on enslaved, living and happy just for because they're selfish. And everybody just in money, which is highly advised by God to not follow money. That's very sinful in the church. You either follow God or money, and money is very rooted. And if you follow money, you'll be unhappy and you are playing the devil's side. That's why the devil tempted Jesus when he was 40 days in the fast, that he will give all the money he wanted, all the properties. So money is a devil thing. It should not follow at all. And yeah, liberalism is very related to sinfulness. So sucks.
Direction, but I don't think that we should settle for that. It's a form of appeasement. We need a real right-wing reactionary movement.
Okay. Feminism. Give us your takes on it. Obviously, we're fairly critical on that over here on this side, but I'd like to get your take on feminism in general.
I'm totally anti-feminist. I mean, some people even say I'm like anti-woman.
I don't blame you. What do you think? What do you think feminism got? What are some of the biggest fuck ups with feminism in your opinion?
Oh, all of that. I mean, because here's the thing: men and women are not the same, and so
yeah, the problem with feminism is the born of it is dumb. Is literally dumb. Think about it. If both female and male work, the child will have to go to school where she or he will be programmed by the matrix on schools, believe in bullshit. That's how the enslavement starts. So feminism is literally a creation of the matrix and is bullshit. If you ask any woman, would they prefer to not work, take care of their children, have children and husband, be married? All them say yes. Big majority say yes. So why change? Why we change? It's stupid. It's literally stupid. It's petty. It's emotional. It's crazy. And those who don't want that, guess what? Back in the day, back before feminism, women who wasn't married, they just worked. It was like that. So it's just crazy, guys. We should go back to how it was. I'm gonna close my window. Come on, back. But we will learn it from nowhere. God.
So this feminist idea that there's any degree of equality, I don't think equality exists. I think that you should treat people with dignity and respect. That's like a precise thing that I would agree with. You should be respectful. You should treat people with dignity. You should be kind, courteous, considerate. But equality does not exist in nature. Equality exists in a conceptual way. That's why we have to enforce it everywhere all the time through these administrative fiat decisions. Like
It's true. Think about animals. Lions, for example. The lioness go and hunt the animal. Then the lion come and eats first. Why? Because in some time will appear other lion who will try to mate with them. So for him to be safe, the lion will have to sacrifice himself in a fight to protect them. So it's always like this, guys. Any animal you think is always the man who protects the female who serves. So it's just our nature.
when we talk about any disparity, any inequality, we always have to go in with the
Females hate to be single. They just want masculine men. So it doesn't make sense.
bureaucrat to rectify that.
Feminism is a lot about being soft, being weak, being crying as a man, being a softy. And that's not what they feel attracted to. So it's dumbness. It's just dumb. The
Because
ideology.
it doesn't actually naturally occur. And so I think equality between religions, ages, genders, sex, any individual doesn't exist. Men and women are fundamentally different. Fundamentally, not like women are, they just have different genitals and longer hair. No, they're fundamentally different. Their brains are different. Their bones are different. Their bodies are different. We should treat them different.
Just eat meat. And females eat steak every day? No, they can handle. Their body can't handle. I eat every day, no problem. Jack, can a woman be this muscular without steroids? No, no woman can do that. So you have your answer right there.
Society should treat them different. So the idea that they would have the equality with men is ridiculous.
Yeah.
If they're not equal, essentially, why would they be equal under the
I'd
law?
argue
Or
they don't
something?
even want equality.
They don't.
Because if you look at modern women now, what do they complain about? Guys don't hold doors open. They don't pay for dates. They're not strong. They're not leaders. Well, that assumes inequality, which is what you guys have been fighting against all this time, right? So it's. I always laugh because feminists want equality when it suits them, but they don't want it when it does. Basically, they want equality of outcome. They don't want equality of effort, is what a lot of them want.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the thing. I mean, we gave them the vote and we gave them the right to work and all these things. Now, do you see a lot of women that are super duper engaged with politics? And even these like career women, it's like fake careers, in my opinion, most of the time.
No, that's a fact. That's not even, bro, the top least paying jobs that aren't needed for infrastructure are female dominated. That's a fact.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're absolutely right. Women don't want it because it's not their role. I mean, women are literally biologically designed to have children. People ridicule that and mock that. They say, oh, you want the women barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. You think they're baby machines. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's what they're made to do. That's what their hormones are about. That's what their brains are about. I mean, people even say their ethics are different because their ethics are based on caregiving. I mean, they're biologically designed to nurture and care for a baby growing in their body and then take care of them after they're outside. So their disposition, their temperament, their everything is all based around that. And as a consequence, that's why most women happen to then not be fulfilled. That you're going to see, it's going to be devastating in this century. All these women that were lied to about feminism that are going to turn 30, 35, 40, no eggs, no husband, no family, ugly.
No eggs.
This already happened. It's true. This already happened. Females on TikToks crying, whining. They were lied by feminism. They don't have a man. No man wants them no more. They too old. This already happens. And this is the truth. That's the truth. Like if you play around, you are always a big ego. You think you can get anything you want. And then you get too old and then you can't because you were dumb. Lied to, but is from your capacity as an intelligent person to see through the bullshit. Like,
going to be millions of them, and they're going to be miserable, and they're going to take it out on us. I mean, they're going to be, God help us, you know, and it's starting to happen. Like they're getting pushed off this cliff here. I look around, and you know what it is? It's these things that people would sort of, you know, they'd say, oh my gosh, that's so extreme. Women shouldn't be getting educated, man. They shouldn't be going to college. There's a 1-to-1 correlation with women getting educated in college and deferring child rearing. In fact, it's a higher correlation between deferring childbearing for women with education than with IQ. In other words, it's not women being intelligent. It's women going to school for all these years, which is why they put it off. And it's them putting it off.
They get more program because it is literally on college and schools that the matrix program comes. So they get more and more program. Guys, I've heard so many stupid shit, to be honest, from females in the workforce. Females very well paid. So many stupid stuff. Like, oh, why women don't have, their children don't have the last name? The same girl who said it, like 5 seconds after, is like, this will not make much sense. They're like, why you said it if you know it doesn't make no sense? And it was one after after word is only stupid stuff they say. Only the most garbage, no sense type of things they do. And that's feminists is whine and cry and say they are the victim. And it's bullshit. Like it's annoying, it's bullshit. And they be single or unhappy because they are with the simp. Because no masculine man wants to be with a female which is a feminist, which is highly annoying, highly arguing, highly crazy because all the crazy stuff she believes in is their fault. Let us say it's their fault. Like I know females who are traditional. I know females who are intelligent. It's up to you to have intelligence. It's not up to you to get to your 30s and now you start realizing the consequences of it and starting waking up. Being smart at 30s doesn't make you smart. You should be smart on your 20s, max. So,
I mean, and we could go really into it, but fundamentally, is the last thing I'll say, fundamentally, the problem is we have gotten away from what is morally right and what is natural. The moral law and the natural law. And what I mean by that is the moral law says that sex is only moral within marriage. And the natural law says that, well, we start to feel like we want to reproduce in our adolescent years. Women have a biological clock. Society should be ordered around these two fundamental facts. Get kids married, get them married young, get them having kids. When you start to introduce this, they got to wait until they're 25. You know, they got to wait until they're 30 and they got to have dating experience and they got to go to college and we got to go through the rigmarole. This is what's producing the society with all these things that just don't work or make sense. Hookup culture, pornography, incels, players, you know, this notion about Chads getting all the sex and everyone else hung out to dry. In a Catholic society, young women are getting married off. They're having
I didn't thought about it, but it's a nice point of view.
Kids. This is healthy for them. That keeps them young, actually. The hormones when they have kids keeps them young. The men are having kids. The fertility rate stays high. The society stays
Kids
stable.
don't come out with autism.
Exactly. And the high mutational load that's associated with deferring childhood. Like that is just how the society should be. We got to radically rethink gender, sex, all these things in the society.
Question for you. Do you think women should vote?
No, absolutely not.
Sorry.
What? Okay, so I think women should vote, but a female's vote should be half of a man's vote because of selective service. Why do you think they shouldn't vote?
Because I don't believe in individualism. I don't think that we have a society of individuals. I think we have a society of families. I think there's a man, a woman, and a child. Children shouldn't vote. Women shouldn't vote. I think the vote should go to the household, and the vote should go to the leader of the household, which is the father, the male, the husband. But I also think that very, very few people should vote. You know, the intention was never to have everybody
not
voting.
all men should vote either. You know what? That's a good point. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of dumbass men too. There's a lot of dumbass men, especially in the cough. Bro, I debating guys, why I didn't want to. Dumbass, God. So true. I think the more, the less educated you are and the less IQ, both, you shouldn't be allowed to vote because you are just too dumb to have any type of thoughts. You are too easily manipulated, too easily programmed. So, yeah, if you believe in the news, bro, if you believe in the news, any type of news you see on TV, you should not be able to vote. You are literally programmed clowns.
Continue.
Right? Because, we have this idea that, well, voting's your God-given right. It's like, why? What discernment does like a 19-year-old student who works a retail job, what discernment do they have about the society? A landlord knows infinitely more about how the country works than a 19-year-old student,
Good
actually.
point.
Right?
Yeah.
And you have a business. You guys have a business here. You had to put the studio together. You know how this stuff works. Again, you are given some discernment about how society works. These women that are on OnlyFans and that are fucking around, they don't know shit.
Facts. It's funny. Just to add to your point as well, we said
The fact that they are doing OnlyFans and do think that they can get a man with that prostitution is just show how nonsense they are. And you are letting these people vote.
18-year-old, for example, or a woman on OnlyFans, what are they influenced by? TikTok, social media. So you're right. Their votes kind of like accounted for already because of the agenda. But let me ask you this, Nick. So family, right, is very important. And I believe that is true. So if his family is very important, head of the family is a man. So in your opinion, which gender would be, I want to say, more responsible for women being how they are now?
That's always the question. And it's a very good question. I think, though, that when you ask men versus women,
I think it's both because it was simp men and men who are very programmed by the Matrix, they let it slide. And then the females all get programmed by the Matrix and did the same. So it's both. Like,
it obfuscates another dimension to it, which is that there's not just a power imbalance between men and women, there's a power imbalance between men. And so I think that the role of media cannot be understated because it was like these activist groups and the media, and it was all men, of course, but they are the ones that put the women out as the shock troops. And it's interesting because when you look at these voting groups that are the most liberal, who are the most liberal Democrat voting groups? It's ethnic and racial minorities, women and young people. When the CIA does a color revolution in another country and they want to topple a nationalist government, what are the three groups they go after? Who do they give the money to? When you see, right? When you say the Maidan, when you see these things, the Arab Spring, it's the religious and ethnic, racial minorities, it's the women, it's the students, because there's most influenceable.
Blacks.
I didn't want to say it. You can say it
for you. I said it for you. Yeah.
I appreciate it
for you, man.
And for all the for all the brothers out there, whatever, the Democrats aren't going to save you. Like they're really not, bro. And they've had the black vote for decades.
They use it as a tool to get your vote, but ultimately they don't care about you.
You don't
bro.
give a fuck about black people, bro.
They don't care, bro.
Like Biden, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Like no, bro. It's psyop. Sorry,
you are a
Nick.
tool.
Yeah, well, it's totally true. And you even get into like, white people are blamed for so much of the black people's problems in the country. If you really go back and we want to name names, we want to go into the textbook, the lore. I mean, you're going to find some people that look white. You're going to find some people that, not exactly. Not quite.
All right, guys, we're going to get to that Rumble.
Rumble.
All right, we got to talk about that on Rumble.
Dancing on the line.
We're fine. We got some more on there,
Start
too.
moving over, guys. That legendary. Start moving over. More that lore on Rumble.
Yes.
No, sorry, continue on, Nick.
So,
Nigga said lore like Lord of the Rings. The lore.
You talk about that too in the book. Well, the book mentions them boys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But sorry, we'll continue on.
So as far as who's to blame, of course it's the men because the men unleash the women, but it's specific men because I don't think any of these guys who are young, like boomers understand. Like my father is a man. My father got it. He was born in 62, so last gasp of the boomers. and he's a man, he got it. He wasn't, under any illusions about feminism, but it's this persistent drumbeat from the media and from these activists, particular men saying women need rights, women got to go out there, free love, that kind of thing.
And it's
so
with the influence too. It's the famous dudes that are doing this bullshit a lot of the time.
Yep. And pushing it on us.
Yeah. You're a really good point, bro. Yeah, because like those guys don't represent the majority.
They don't.
They represent a minority, but the problem.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys see the rapper Lil Baby. He's already joined the Matrix too. So
Is that they got a majority of the influence.
Yes.
And now I think about this shit. See, I'm really glad that when we have high IQ guests because it helps me think. Why did Andrew Tate blow up? Think about that for a second. The reason why Andrew Tate blew up wasn't because we got a bunch of feminized men that want female equality and all this other bullshit. No, it was a bunch of guys that were suppressed that couldn't fucking say what the hell was really on their mind. They knew feminism was bullshit. They knew that these women were out of order. They knew that all this shit was fucked up and affirmative action and women getting hired for jobs that they don't necessarily qualify for, don't deserve, getting hired over men that are superior to them. They knew it was all bullshit. So what happened? Andrew Tate says, hey, the fuck? Stop being a part of the Matrix, blah, blah. Everyone goes crazy because he's been saying what everyone's thinking. Trump, why did he win? There was a silent majority that thought, you know what? Fuck this shit. Yeah, America first. This is bullshit. What's up with all these feminists, all these weird libtards? But it's the minority of men that have the influence that are the feminists that with the fucking pink hair marching like, yeah, let's go on a slow walk with y'all. But the rest of the guys are like, this is bullshit. But they shut up because they don't want to lose their job.
Yeah. Even celebrity actors, some of our, for example, The Rock.
Yeah.
I mean, what's happening to people that are the sign of masculinity turn into like freaking women?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Bro.
A lot of the most influential actors, wearing dresses, musicians, etc. They're liberals, and then that's what everyone thinks it is. But the reality is, it's not. Like, why did we blow up? Why did Andrew Tate blow up? Why are you popular? Even though you've been canceled everywhere, you got an army behind you. Why? Because they're tired of the fucking bullshit. Man.
Yeah, there's an appetite for it. Yeah, plain and simple. And it's right. You look at these actors. I used to say, and I say this on my show, like my favorite genre of movie or TV show. And I think it's true of everybody. It's the same movie every time, no matter who the actor is, and no matter what the kind of movie it is. It's like there's an old white guy and he's the fucking best at everything. And they throw everything at him and he solves it. That's 24. That's House of Cards. That's Breaking Bad. That's every show.
Walter White, Kiefer Sutherland.
It's Mad Men. It's Drive.
Rocky Balboa.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Mickey,
Walter White.
Clint Eastwood. John Wayne. It's a white guy.
No, Mickey was one of them. Sorry, never mind.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, my bad.
Or any man for that matter.
Yeah.
But there's a guy. And it's a father figure, but it's a father archetype. And that's what people are longing for. And that's why they look at it. They seek that out in an Andrew Tate or, us or anybody else.
Yeah. Some chats here?
Before I read the chats, as far as women go on, the family unit, etc. What's your response to all the haters that call you an incel?
Well, I mean, I call myself an incel, so I don't really help my case there. But here's the thing about that. I am a virgin. I'm waiting until marriage. I'm Catholic. I believe it's a mortal sin to have sex.
Wait a minute. You weren't joking?
No.
It is. Guys, it is. It's in the Bible that you should not have sex for pleasure. I did it and I regret it. If I could be virgin, I would be virgin nowadays. And I did it especially from dumbness. So I definitely would prefer be a virgin too. And we should be until we find a woman. Sex isn't that good. I already said before, sex isn't that good. It's more you not knowing and your instincts like going crazy. Once you go it, guys, it's not that good at all. Neither you should experiment it. Just find the old woman. Make sure she's not a 304. She's not a hoe. She's not a snake, not a gold digger trying to steal your money. And if she's a good girl, be with her for life. Make sure she's traditional. Back check her background and her past to know she isn't lying, portraying to be someone she is not. All females do that. Make sure you check it out. But yeah, once you got the right one, it's there. Pray to God every day, read the Bible to make sure that He is guiding you to find the right person.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't know?
No, I thought it was a joke.
No, are you serious, man?
Okay.
I'm serious.
Shout out to you, man.
And you know, and I'm not trying to hide behind the morality. I mean, to an extent, I mean, for me, it's just never been about sex for me. And what I try to tell young guys is, look, there's more to life than sex. And even I would say the marriage, because there's this pernicious thing that goes on where I think there's a lot of guys out there that really believe that their problem is they don't have a girlfriend. Like there's so many guys that are miserable.
It's true. It's true. I think I've been there years ago, unfortunately. It's true. A lot of guys think that, yo, you don't need a girlfriend for nothing. You don't need a woman for nothing, to be honest. What really is fun is having a purpose and being close to God. Like, look at my life. Now I'm building myself up and I want to be stronger and bigger and be accomplished, successful. And I'm hustling, right? Doing all these videos, all this stuff. And this is fun. Now I'm going to a train road, so it's not that fun because I'm sick and all that. I didn't post my last video, but maybe I'll post it so you guys can check why. Um, Basically, me being sick and weaker cannot train as I want, but I will post the video to go more to details. And I have the workout video I have to post too. Forgot it, but yeah, guys, like basically that's fun. Improving yourself. That's cool. Females, for what's their use? To be honest, love, bro, you start to understand real fast in this society, especially this society that's matrix run, that females jump one guy to another, to another, to another, only because he's richer, because he's more popular, because he can give you a different experience. It's just a bad game to go in, you know? And I talk from experience, like it's not you think, oh yeah, we'll be in love and everything will go okay, bro. All the guys who I see like this, I know for sure their girls already cheated on him, and that's the problem. Believing this fairy tale. One thing is being with a traditional woman. When you are masculine, traditional and masculine, so you rule, you lead, you ain't scared or asking her for doubts and questions and being soft and being secure, right? And you tell her, no, you cannot be a hoe, no, you cannot go nights out, no, no whole shit, right? That's different because you already know how females are. So it's better to understand female nature. And once you understand female nature, you understand that most females are all the same. There are ones better than others, but school is not that all fairy tale. Oh, I'm in love, blah blah blah. Like this is childish play, and I don't advise at all because, to be honest, it's just not gonna go well, guys. And once you understand female nature, start to have ambition, working on yourself, you're going to start feeling like I don't even need females. They appear, cool. You choose the right ones, not the hoes. Again, I can say from experience, I receive a nudes. I have hot girls liking my stuff. I don't do any conversation. A lot of them are, majority of them are hoes. And just choose the right girl when it's time because females are very time consuming. They want a lot of attention. They want a lot of talking. They want a lot of wasting your time. It's just when you start grinding and start having purpose and going at it, you will understand you don't have time for females. It's like friends. Just today I saw three guys talking, right? For like hours. It's like, bro, you really don't have a life. If you had a purpose, you will not waste it on just talking with other people. Like, what's gonna this get for you? It's a waste of time. But you will understand someday if you want to be successful and ambition.
like spiritually.
It's not, they're just going to be average, to be honest.
Crushed, and in their mind, and this is why you see them sad posting like bitches on Twitter or TikTok, you know, I don't have a girlfriend, I want cuddles, whatever.
Yeah,
it's like this therapeutic thing. And what it is, though, what I noticed is it's like a mommy issue thing. They want a woman to run their finger through their hair and say it's going to be okay. They want a mommy. And I'm here to tell the young guys, like,
I'm going to be honest, when I was like these years ago, it was exactly like that. I was a bitch. I was very feminine. I want a girl to care about my feelings, emotions, and stuff, my traumas. I was very soft. I was really very soft. And that's why I call you a lot of time bitches and soft, because there was some time I talk about me in the past seeing these traits. I know you are the same unless you already developed. And that's the problem. When you start wanting to be a man, wanting to provide, wants to build up, wants to do your life and don't care about others, start being selfish only for your purpose and going your route, you don't care about females for nothing. But when you are a little bitch, then you're like, oh yeah, I want someone to take care of me. It's not gonna happen, guys. Females don't want to take care of nobody. They want to be taken care of. And once you understand that, and they don't want to give you emotional support, and they want to that you give her emotional support. It's one sided. They don't want to care for you. They want to be cared for. Once you understand that, you realize that you don't need them for nothing. The more you will start understanding, the more relationship you have, because they're all the same.
Like you got to be a fucking man. Like, let go of your mom. Okay. You got to leave the coop. You don't need another mom. You don't need to marry your mom to take care of you. Because what I see happen to these guys is they find their girlfriend. In some cases, they get married and they turn into these like schlub, miserable people. I tell guys, focus on your.
My dad is like that. I'm going to just be honest. My dad is exactly like that. He wants love. He wants to be taken care of. He's exactly like that. My brother, I think, is the same. My brother, I don't want to be talking bad, but it has a lot of similar characteristics, a lot of them, and it's the problem. Maybe your dad was like that too, but that you cannot be like that. There are very bad mothers, not that they are horrible people, but there are a lot of bad mothers who just want to cater to their son and be like that for life, and they should stop once they get to teenager years, and they don't. They want to do continuously, so that's the problem. I always wake up way sooner because my life was harder and different, right? But yeah, guys, don't be soft. Don't. If you want a female to take care of you, you are a bitch. Like, you are soft as fuck. How do you expect a female to be attracted to you when you are such a clumsy, weak as? Ugh. Like, they want you to be strong, masculine, to be able to fight, to be able to stand up, to be able to say no, be dominant. That's what they want. The opposite of what's being soft is.
Yourself. Be happy as an independent man. Get your skill. Make your money, get an education. And this happens for a different age for everybody. But you got to really become a man first. Then you get married. Then you get your girlfriend, whatever. And that's kind of what I've been on for a long time. I mean, you know, I've really survived under kind of the worst circumstances ever, being banned from banks and every social media. And I tell people, would I have been able to do this if I was worried about picking up chicks?
Good point.
You know, like if I'm 18
Good point.
and I'm doing a green screen show in my mom's basement talking about what I talk about for 100 people, and I go to a bar and say, hey, you know, what's going on? And they say, what do you do? I'm like, well, I host this, you know, racist show in my parents' basement. Like, how's that going to go?
What the fuck, bro? This is good, Chris. Yo, I will say this, right? Because when I said that I was going to bring you on the show, like some people out there were like, why are you bringing Nick on a dating podcast, bro? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is a dating podcast. She's a virgin. Fuck you guys. This isn't a show about just getting laid and getting chicks. This show about becoming a better man, being fucking smart, knowing what the hell's going on in the world around you,
Yeah.
not being a moron. And here's the thing, I would argue, bro, with your fame and your clout, you're not really an incel. You go get a bitch now if you wanted to, right? You know, some fucking tradcon whore is gonna be like, oh yeah, I don't like them boys either. Just fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they would probably smash you. So I would argue you're choosing to be celibate at this point. Maybe at first it was a joke, like, oh yeah, I'm an incel.
Yeah.
But at this point, bro, you famous as fuck. You can fuck some bitch.
I can appreciate your point of view because once again, like,
and he's doing it for religious reasons. So I can respect that too.
Looking back at my life,
fuck you haters,
and being Christian as well. If I can go back in time, I'll prefer not to get into it because, hey man, you start smashing girls, bro, get into that path.
See, it's the same. We all the same. All us who are Christian, we acknowledge that having sex was not a good experience. It's not good. It's not that you are hate, but it's just there's way more than the pleasure and the physical. It doesn't feel that good and will create a lot of void in you. You don't really understand. And you guys don't really understand. Sex will create a lot of void in you. Will break you. And people don't understand that.
It's a path of like infinite, unnecessary, like
especially
turmoil because it never ends. It's like a thirst of like, all right, I smash, I busted a nut. All right, where's the next one? It never ends. So I think, personally speaking, like your point of view is good because you're for one, you're an individual that knows what they want, and two, you're not going to be or succumb to like the lust of like women, which I think is really good. But once again, I'm already too far gone.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's like
I disagree because I was always lustful, and that's my biggest problem. Really, is literally from Jesus saying you should not think of a woman sexually. That's my biggest problem because I was very sexual since 12. Oh, my testosterone must be crazy, guys, for real. To be honest, look at my body. Like, this is a very testosterone high body, but I wasn't always like that. I was always did a lot of effort and had a lot of discipline with the things I like, especially fitness. But I was very sexual from early age. Unfortunately, I was put on pornography, which is very sinful. You should not see that at all. It's a devil play. But since a toddler, a child, a young child who wasn't even able to do the deed, if you understand me. And that's the problem. That's the problem. With a lot of older dudes who are like, yeah, watch this. And it's like, no, you should not advise. You are a dork. And you should not advise. You are a dork because you are watching that shit. And that's the problem, guys. Don't watch pornography. That's highly sinful, highly disgusting content. No, don't do that. For real. If you're improving in life, don't release yourself. Don't watch that nasty stuff. It will just make you be a loser for life. Not evolve anyway, not wanting to evolve anyway, be resentful of life or females. Like, don't do that stuff, guys. Be honest.
Like, that's a great message for the guys. Like, yo, don't focus on women, focus on yourself. Yeah. And yeah, you're right, bro. Getting canceled on everything, being under investigation by the FBI, getting on a no fucking
lies. You have to think when you watch that stuff, you enter a psyche of, oh yeah, that's normal. All these females do it, but I'm not doing it. So it kind of bugs you, right? That's why you're so obsessed with sex. That's what I was thinking. Maybe I was always very lustful because I have always this really toxic thing in my life. And nowadays, as you know, I do similar retention, practice most part, already did 93 days once. I already posted a video about it, but it's very bad, right? For real. The Bible is said for not drain your energy. And it wasn't even real that, but it's very clear how promiscuity and sex is very sinful nature and you should not indulge in that whatsoever. Never for pleasure.
Shit.
If you want to consume a marriage, if you want to have kids, cool. If not, just do it. You will evolve way more, improve way more, just abstaining from it. For real.
Like, bro, you had to overcome a lot of adversity. I could only imagine if you had to fucking deal with a female.
Actually, any man that has had success had to, on some level, top chicks. Inventors, scientists,
Facts.
even us on a podcast
Yeah.
for a whole year and a half. We didn't really do much.
Yeah.
Just focus on the podcast. So
yeah.
you're right.
Bro, you have to go through a period of not dealing with chicks,
Have
man, to like fucking like get your shit together. That's just what it is, man. So I can respect it, and you do it for religious reasons. So fuck the haters, man.
Yeah.
But we can hit the chats, and then we can get into Destiny and Sneeko with his best people.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. Yeah, and you know what? Shout out to fucking Sneeko, man, because he introduced me to Nick. And yeah, that's why he's here now.
I'm not gonna lie, Nick. This is off camera, but it's on camera now. I didn't like it at first.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure it out.
Probably skin color.
Do you like me now, though?
I'm trying to figure it out. Pause.
Okay.
We'll see, though.
That's okay. I like you.
Bro, don't worry about him, man. He's shirtless. Look how black this thing is, man. All right. Let's get Greg. Fuck you, nigga. I'm serious. This guy's got a chain on, nothing else. And some blue pants.
Purple.
The most wanted man in America, the Nicholas J. Fuentes. This is going to be the best content. So unfortunately, we can't be on YouTube. Christ is King and Christian Futurism is taking over WFNF. Shout out to you, bro. Like I said before, we brought out so many guys that are canceled, bro. They get canceled, come over to FNF, man. We're not bitch ass niggas. We'll have y'all. I'm sure they taught you guys to be 15 minutes early to any event in the Fed. Okay. Johnny Olis goes, I had meat and rice for dinner today. All right. Appreciate that. Nice. Random. The boomer generation's consequences have been a disaster for the human race. All right. Fair.
Both in.
It goes, for the cause, for the boys, thank you for all the knowledge. God bless you all. Jesus Christ is King.
That
and
is
also,
true.
real quick, want to stop the show, I'll tell y'all this. Cozy.tv/Nick. Go support him over there, guys. That's his website because they ban him off everything else. So cozy.tv/Nick. Link is below. And I also got his Telegram in there too. So go support him over there because they literally kicked you off everything.
Yeah, literally banned from everything.
Can you tell the audience why you were banned?
Well,
sorry. You know, Rumble, guys. In a second. Stupid.
Clear to us while we were banned on platforms right now. Tell us right now.
Find out on Rumble, guys.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Rumble.
Coming soon. Okay, there you go.
No, I'm just kidding. Everybody always catching. Everyone's always catching hell because they don't give this guy any pushback. Be the one pod to give him a little. Because they don't give this guy any put.
Oh, that just gave me like a freezing, right? I remember when in Simpsons there were a music about girls dancing, and in reality was a guy American. Basically was the Simpsons saying how the Matrix program you. Simpsons tells you a lot of stuff, guys, but I don't watch it no more. But that freaked me out, and I didn't understand by the time, but was a message already.
I mean,
well, if there's an issue, we will discuss it. But right now, there's nothing that came up. That was
kind of been right about a lot of the things here, bro. Why you all mad, bro?
Yeah, nothing's wrong here.
You almost have 1.5 million subs, and you have this guy on. You have balls of steel, my friend. Shout out to Myron, aka ex-Captain Teabag. Hey, man, it is what it is, bro. Yeah, we'll bring people on that other people are way too scared to bring on, man. And like I said before, he says a lot of things. I agree with a lot of things that Nick says. Do I agree with everything? No, but I think he's smart, and y'all need to hear his point of view. And yeah, I like the guy. Various layers. Have a great day, gentlemen. Appreciate that.
Cody.
Myron, I was watching the credit card podcast from the other day and was wondering if you could explain the difference between benefits of doing a balance transfer for investments versus taking out a loan or using the credit card directly. No, I was talking about basically using a credit card where you can practice credit card arbitrage. Like Bank of America, one of their cashback cards will let you transfer your balance into your checking account, and then you can use that to invest.
There's videos on YouTube where you can find out precisely how to do it with different companies.
Yeah, search. God damn it.
Credit card arbitrage.
Yeah, but there's a YouTuber that's really good at it. I can't remember his name.
Is he Asian?
No, black dude.
Oh, well, that makes sense if he's Asian.
God damn it, I'll remember it. That's dope. Y'all have him on a platform to speak. Now, can we get Dr. Umar Johnson on here too? You know what, bro? Stop the show. Go ahead, take it away. Because we
okay.
y'all want to sit here and say y'all only bring on like people that are like far right, blah blah blah. Go ahead.
Okay, so I happened to speak to Dr. Umar Johnson to come on the podcast, and a friend of mine made that connection for us. Shout out to SB, Q's brother. However, he did not respond or didn't want to, I guess, proceed because I think you were coming.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but whatever the case is, he didn't show up or didn't.
He's scared of Nick,
See.
guys. He's fucking scared of Nick. That's what it is.
I don't know,
But I'll say it. He's scared of Nick.
but ultimately, it'll be awesome to have him and you here for a debate.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
I'm scared. Yo, I'm willing to, you guys out here that are like, that are pro, you liberals, basically, is what I'll just say. Y'all that want to come on here and debate us or Nick or somebody else, whatever, we'll make it happen. We're not scared. We'll have it.
We made the
Yeah, they're
offer,
scared
but
because they know they are bullshit. It's all bullshit what they say. So they know they will lose every time.
Yeah. You scared, bro. That's what it is, man.
If you are right, there's nothing to be scared of.
Let's see here. Albo H, pretty sad how certain set twins did that to you guys after you mentioned multiple times how you would love to have them on the pod. Less respect for them. Yeah, I mean, again, whenever
look,
they're wrong. Even their own comment section was shitting on them. Yeah.
It says so much about their opinion, and they were definitely wrong. Just saying.
Yeah, they were talking about
Fuck out of here, nigga.
The Hodge twins
Do
basically
what
took
the
out
fuck
on
you
that
want to
one.
do, nigga?
I told them, yo, I could debate y'all on that if you guys want. I don't think they've been on the dating market since the fucking 90s.
Shut up, Keith.
Yeah, niggas were single when Bill Clinton was getting his dick sucked. Like, for real. The fuck, the game has changed, man. Where we at here? Oh, Prince J goes, when y'all get banned, I'm going to laugh. Don't cry when it happens. What the fuck, man? Fuck you, Prince, you bitch ass nigga. Sup, Grapes. Shout out to Myron Fresh and the big dog Nicholas J. Fuentes. America first is inevitable. Absolutely. And then ask Nick how he feels about Myron Fresh dating multiple white women back to back. That'll be on Rumble. This is the same guy who went bomb for bashing an Italian girl for having what?
A black boyfriend. Hold on. Can you tell me what's the issue? Me banging snow bunnies?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like race mixing.
What did you say?
I don't like race mixing.
No, don't like.
I think it's wrong.
That's crazy. I didn't know he was like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. What the? That's crazy.
World for us.
What, are you getting mad?
Say it one more time.
What? I don't like race mixing?
Good boy. Bro. It's okay. It doesn't matter. That's his opinion.
Hey,
it's
man.
I'm gonna do what I do.
I would like to know why. That's crazy. That's so crazy. That's so crazy.
I mean,
What? I get it too. I mean,
yo, L Fresh as usual. All right, let's go. L Fresh. That's L, man. I thought you were gonna say something funny.
That was funny.
It wasn't. Mark, I see what you did. The guests on the show past week and the topics on FedEx led us to this interview. I love this as a Myron, bro.
That's so crazy. I haven't even seen you, bro. That's crazy.
W, bro, much respect. Yeah, hopefully it'll get canceled. And then we got here, guys, get ready because we're gonna move over to Rumble here pretty soon. Love your work, W Fresh Fit Gang. Get the likes up. Cool.
Yes,
and then,
please.
guys, from this point forward, because we already got about almost 10,000 y'all in here. We're gonna go 50 and up here because I want to make sure that we get through the entire interview. We still got a lot to talk about here. Shout out to Quintessential for gifting 40 YouTube memberships. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much.
Guys, I will come here to this like a second.
And then we got here, and then guys, just so y'all know, every single chat that comes through is going to be shown on screen. However, from this point forward, I'm only going to read 50 and up because, like I said before, we got a lot to cover. Nick Fuentes, future monarch, America Christian autocratic rule is inevitable. Okay. And then we got AB goes, Trump got him because he is a man of the people. I'm in the way, not because he memed his way in. He genuinely cares about this country. That's what we all felt. Kaylee McAney, Trump was not an idiot with admin team. Okay.
Right, cool.
And then we got here, Yvette Simonis. Why in the world are you, Nick, and Fresh believing in the election process? The Dems are going to steal it again, and the conservatives will be too soft to do anything about it. You have anything you want to say to that, Nick?
Yeah, I agree. I've been saying that on my show for a long time. I think it's actually unlikely Trump's going to win because I think they rigged it in 20. I think they rigged it in 22. And most likely they're going to rig it in 24.
I agree.
Yeah. So now I don't think that it's impossible to overcome, though.
Mhm.
I think that Trump can't overcome it.
I don't think there's any way Biden can win, though. There's no way. What is he, 30% approval rating right now?
I mean, I
Somewhere
feel
in
like if he could win in 2020, they could rig it in 24 and do it. 70 some million
Can you
votes.
agree, since you know politics very well,
Mhm.
that on some level they know who's going to win?
Who? The political people?
The people at the top.
The deep state.
Well, I mean, I would say yes, but then again, I think they were totally blindsided by Trump. I think there's still a legitimate process. I think that they have ways of rigging it. I think the mail-in ballots, I mean, that's how they do it. You know, they're literally ballot stuffing, or rather ballot harvesting. So, and I think that in the case of Trump, like I think there was ballot harvesting in 16. I think it was happening then too at a lower percentage, and I think they underestimated the Trump turnout. I think they assumed that.
Yes, in my country, I believe it happened the same thing. Like the group that leads in my country is the same group that had the biggest corrupt person in the world, and the one who's running right now was his left man, right wing man, right? So I think it just happened the same, to be honest. It's unfortunate, but we are in deep trouble. Like you are already like this is going down quick. We are in a very bad situation, but that's all countries. We can see very clearly. All Europe and America is going down and drain until a revolution happens, I guess.
That Clinton was going to win by a landslide, so maybe they didn't pull out all the stops. Yeah.
Okay. Good point.
That's fair.
And then we got here.
Last few here?
Tanner Boyle goes, just here to pay respects to you guys, both for being brave enough to have Nick on and also for speaking out on behalf of modern men. God bless. Appreciate that, my friend. And then we got here Base Dollar. Nick Fuentes has me stunned. He has given us truth. I need to hear more. Yeah, man. Go check him out on cozy.tv/Nick. That's where you guys can find them because they ban them off everywhere else. So make sure cozy.tv/Nick. We're going to keep that. We're going to put on the screen here for y'all here in a second. Nick is the content. Listen to him. Take his perspective to heart. Our future depends on it. I appreciate that, my friend. So how did you meet Sneeko?
Well, we first met basically on a live stream. Some buddies of mine were.
I'm still thinking he said he doesn't like mixed race. Mixed race, bro. That's crazy. We definitely mixed
for chatting
race,
his
guys.
stream and in his
Some
live.
people think I'm Arabic. Some people think that I'm Italian. Nobody thinks where I'm from. But I definitely have a lot of mix in me. It's very clear, like my beard, my strong eyelines. It's very clear. Like I don't look just Caucasian. I look like discrepancy between maybe Arabic or Latino and Caucasian. I have like these sharper eyes, like from Asia. It's weird. My mother used to say my grandparents used to look kind of Asian, like a Korean guy. So I definitely have a lot of mix. My other grandfather, which already passed away, rest in peace to him. He has the nose exactly as black men do, very like puffy. So
Chat and saying, "Hey, you got to react to." This was July or August of last year.
Okay.
So
my grandma has very like blue and green clear eyes, very and she like there. No, my father thinks she maybe came from the. I'm not gonna continue saying, but I have a lot of mixed in my family for sure. That's no doubt. Where they come from, if there are multiple places, I don't know, probably.
Just a year ago. And so a couple of my buddies, they're spamming his live chat. Hey, you got to check him out and watch a few of my videos. And literally that night, we were streaming at the same time. They gave him my number, gave him my Discord, and we called. We did a stream and basically became friends on the spot. I think we both recognized I was actually surprised because he's a black guy. I'm thinking he's going to come on and be like, no, what are you talking about this, that?
Wait, is he Asian?
He's Haitian and Asian.
Haitian,
okay.
Asian, and little something else, I think. Hungarian. So he says. I'm Hungarian, right? Yeah. No, but that's okay. I mean, he's a good guy. And so he called in and he's dropping heat. I'm like, whoa, like this guy's totally red pilled. He surprised me.
Yeah.
So we rapidly became friends, and we linked up, met for the first time in LA during the A24 back in November, December last year.
What was it like being in the ES campaign? Was it like hard? Was it like a lot of like pressure? How was that?
It was.
And then why did you ultimately leave?
Well, it was wild. I mean, from start to finish, that's all you could really say about it, because this man like doesn't sleep. And I say this not saying that he has mental illness, but manic is the right way to describe it. And not saying he's like manic depressive, but meaning like just frenetic, frenzied, like wakes up. I remember there was one day we worked like 18 hours, literally got to the office, worked 18 hours. He drops me off at my hotel and he goes, how much you need to sleep? I'm like, I don't know, 5-6 hours. He goes, okay, I'll call you in 6 hours. And then did. And then literally my alarm goes off and he's texting me. And that was the pace for like months. And he's a perfectionist. That's the other thing. He's a big believer in the hoodies, the shoes. He wants to do it 100 times. He wants to see 100 colorways, 100 variations, 100. And he's like that with the political stuff. So some of these messages we're writing about Brittany Griner and some of these other things, we literally did it 100 times, 100 different ways, opposite ways. You know, he would call and say, well, I want it written like a prayer. Write it like a prayer. Okay, now I want it written like a joke. Okay, now it's too funny. Make it more serious.
Is this like a tweet or something? Or
yeah.
Oh, okay. So like y'all are like going over a bunch of different tweets about one topic.
Like one tweet.
Wow.
Literally one tweet. I remember the Brittany Griner, he got banned on Twitter. We put it on Telegram. We spent like 12 hours.
They banned him on Twitter?
Yeah.
For the Brittany Griner thing?
After Alex Jones, they banned him.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
A little
interview.
touchy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because they definitely misconstrued what he said, and we'll talk about that. So I didn't know he was a perfectionist like that, because I've heard, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, I've heard from like artists that work with him, he'll like
It makes sense because he made beats. And when you're making beats, you're trying very different things. So you kind of like everything you learn as a skill, and if you continue progressively, that's the person you become. For me, example, right? I'm so hard, I'm so tough, and all that. Why do you think is that? I'm lifting weights every day. That's heavy. I don't want it. Keep going, keep going. I can do it no more. Keep going, keep going. I'm suffering. One more, two more, and that builds you. That builds you your character, your mentality, and everything is related. He produced beats for years and years and years. So it's normal that he wants to try out multiple different things, because as a beat, you have to try out multiple different sounds to see where totally aligns what you want to hear.
do a verse, and then he'll like get up and like start doing designs.
Yes.
And then he'll get up again and do something else, and then he'll get up and do something else. Then he'll come back to the music. Then he'll go back and do something else. He can't stay still. It's just like, I got to keep doing something. Be productive at all times.
Yeah, he's a polymath, you know. So we would be towards the later part of it. I mean, he loves hotels. He'd like live in hotel rooms, and he loves the hotel design and everything. And so we'd be in a room. And I remember there was one day we're in a room, and he's got the guy that produced Donda 2 is in the corner with the laptop making a song. Okay. And in the other corner is a business manager doing the easy business. And over here you got, I think somebody's doing designs. And then I'm over here on the bench on the laptop writing up the thing. Yeah. And he's sitting there playing a video game. But he's like, then this guy literally, and you know, I've been a fan of his music forever. I've been a fan of his, like a diehard fan since about 2015, 2016.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And I know everybody says he's a genius, and I think that's certainly true about the music. And I was always a little skeptical. What's he like in real life? You know, because I see the interviews and I see the brilliance and I listen to the music and I hear the creativity. But being with him in person, he really does have this creative spark. You can't put your finger on it. You can't describe it. All you can say is it's true, like inspiration, true creative inspiration. And so working with him, we'd be in an office setting, or we'd be in the hotel room, and he would go from the design to the business to the politics, playing music. And you notice that in every domain, he's got an insight. In every domain, he's got like an intuitive grasp of whether it's fashion or music, even politics. I was amazed at the stuff that he just got. Like, he didn't know the specifics because he's not a political guy. And, you know, so that was some of the stuff we were working on, is kind of getting him doing the crash course on politics. And yet, even though, like, I do this every day, he had just intuitively grasped concepts that most people, it takes them years to understand about the topics that we'll get into on Rumble, but even anything, just got it. And that's something that you can't teach. That's something you're born with. And that's the guy that does graduation. That's a guy that does the Easy 350s. That's a guy that, does what he did in November, which I thought was sort of a masterpiece of its own. So, I mean, it was an honor to be with him, and one of the most inspirational things that happened to me, and he talked about that. He said, I look at you, he would say to me, as somebody who's going to go out in politics, he sees himself as sort of like a mentor in a sense to people that he's worked with on music or fashion. And so he thought, you're going to take things that you worked with me and take that into politics. And I certainly did. I think it was a true inflection point even in my career, just having that exposure to him in that way. So it was incredible.
And people got fired working with him. One in particular comes to my mind, Milo. What happened there, if you could talk about it?
Well, it was this whole drama back in December 2022. I think it was tail end of November, beginning of December. And honestly, everybody got fired except for me. And I don't say that just because I'm here, but I mean, that's literally, I'll tell you the whole deal. But he sort of brought a team together in November, and we're bringing a lot of people in. And after Alex Jones, he fired everybody. And I was the sole political contact basically from around late December until May. And then Milo was brought back in during May. And I had a big problem with that. And we could get into that chapter. But back in November and December, basically Milo got fired for general incompetence. He's also somebody who's not really directionally in line with where Ye was at that time, because, I mean, you remember the stuff Ye was saying. Milo is one of them boys,
Okay, fair enough.
He's one of them people, okay? And so I remember we'd be in the room and Ye would be putting this stuff out there.
So those comments caused a rift between him and Milo.
Well, yeah.
It did. Okay.
And there was this pressure where I was always saying yes, I'm always saying, yes, you're the genius, you're the master. Let's go in that direction. Because he'd be saying some wild stuff about strategy, about policy. And Milo would always be there, trying to poo-poo that and say, no, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. This and that. And there was this big,
so you would say, yes, let's find a way versus no, we can't do that.
Basically, yeah. And the thing is, my favorite tweet that he ever put out, I put it on my Telegram today. He put out a tweet a few years ago and said, stop setting plays, stop playing chess with life, be as transparent as possible. That's my MO. When I go out there and I say what I say, which people don't like, and even people that agree with me say, that's too far, that's too controversial, people aren't ready. I don't think I'm not a machinator. I'm not a political guy. Even though I talk about politics, I speak from my heart. I'm passionate. And I think me and Ye were similar in that regard. He wanted to go out there and say it. And the first night I met him, he said something, and I literally thought it was providential, because this was a crossroads I was in. Milo, because I had known him for a time, he was pushing me all the time. Stop talking about this. Stop saying that. Don't say this on your show. You got to be a guy people can do business with. Which what does that mean? Money, compromise.
Yeah.
And I would say, no, dude, I got to be true to the message. I got to put it out there. I just disagree with you. And the first night I met Ye, and I was at a real crossroads personally, and I wasn't really talking too much. Ye was kind of holding court in this church, and he said something that touched that question in my mind. He said, look, we're 50 years from a Black Mirror episode, and unless somebody like me goes out and says this, it's all over. And I'm not saying verbatim, but that was the gist of it.
Yeah.
And it was like a lightning bolt. I'm like, that's what I needed to hear. That's exactly right.
We're going to hear it on Rumble, what exactly he said specifically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In other words, there's urgency.
Yeah.
There's urgency. It has weight. Our civilization is crumbling.
Yeah.
And we need people who are persuasive and compelling and influential to start to put that message out there. Let people do with it what they will.
Yeah.
Let other people make the compromises. We need to get the truth out there. That's my view. If people want to have their varying degree of self-censorship, that's fine. That's your job. My job is to tell the truth. My job is to be a compelling orator and tell people what's up and start making sense. And everyone in their role can figure out how to work it into their world.
Question for you. I do believe there's truth there. The truth should be told to everybody. But on the same end of that stick, would you say that Milo was saying, you know what, in certain cases, if you hold it back here, it can impact more people if you're still relevant? Because right now, he's done for, because it's not even a thing anymore. What if he's more like careful about how he moved about what he said? Would that help at all? Or do you think or no?
Well, I think there's a point to be made. There's all the difference in the world between being true to yourself and then suicide.
Yeah.
Jumping in. I will say, though, in his case, I don't think it was something that was unrecoverable. And I think that he did a lot to raise the consciousness, even after the Alex Jones appearance. I'd go to my barber. He's not a right-wing political guy. And he would say, yeah, he's just saying what we're all thinking after that. And, I think there's something to be said about, and even he said this on Alex Jones, about a boldness. He said, we're the SWAT team. I'm the battering ram. I blow the door down.
Bro, I think it's like this doesn't to do with anything, but bro just paid $14 for a message which will not be read because Marlon already said that it was 50 up.
Nick comes in with the facts, or so-and-so comes in. But his job was to sort of break the door down on the conversation. And maybe that's just a temperament thing. Maybe that's just like a personal philosophy. I'm a big believer in like blow it up, cause disorder, cause chaos, because we're on this trajectory where there's a 0% chance we win. Like if they have it their way, the status quo marches on, we are all dead. Like we are all totally screwed. Civilization's over. So my idea is like, it's like a meteor headed towards Earth and we got to hit it with the nuclear bomb. We got to hit it with the Armageddon, Bruce Willis, and knock it off its trajectory. So the goal is more just like disruption. The goal is more just blow it up, light it up, change the conversation, create things that are unpredictable. Because I think that when you start to think like that, there's something to be said for that. And this is the last thing I'll say. But when you start to think like this, like, well, maybe I should just cut around the edges here and trim the corners, it's a very slippery slope. And people make decisions like this every day, what they're going to push and pull on. And when you start to, it's a very tricky thing. And I think a lot of the times people start to let themselves get dragged into this complacency and they say a lot less than they ever intended to say. So I'm always of the mind that the bias needs to be against the lethargy. The bias needs to be in favor of forward momentum. I lean on the side of Ye going and saying what he did as opposed to, maybe let's just not, we got to go all out in some cases.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
Real quick, you met Trump with Kanye. What was that like meeting Trump in person?
Well, it's unbelievable, because these are my two heroes.
Yeah.
And I've said that forever. I mean, I'm not like a bandwagoner. Like Trump is my number one hero. I think he's one of the greatest Americans that ever lived. Same thing with Ye. I mean, he's been a personal hero and inspiration. And so here I am.
Was it weird, like being on one side to defeat the other?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that was the weirdest part about it because, maybe under normal circumstances, it'd be a different dynamic. But here I am, across from Donald Trump and Ye. And I'm just like, for the first 30 minutes, I just couldn't believe it. I was just like enamored. But there was a point during the dinner where Ye asked Trump to be his running mate. I mean, he actually asked him that. That wasn't just a joke.
Shit.
He said and it was funny because...
Paint the picture for us. Who's there at that dinner?
Oh, okay. So...
It's true, though. These guys raise vote age 25 when brain is fully developed. I agree, guys. I truly agree. I'm 25. The person who I am now, from when I was 18, 19, 20, is totally different. I didn't know if it is from being 25, but I know for sure that 25, when I wake up, was like, I need to work out way more. I need to be accomplished. I need to quit all my late addictions. I need to improve. I need to be better. I need to do more. I need to be more responsible, more emotional intelligence, more resilience to frustration and pain. It was at 25. So I truly believe when you are 25, you are truly like, you become more of a man, right? And we cannot say, for example, Nick is 24. He's obviously should have the right to vote, but if we compare everybody, would be a smarter decision to vote everybody 25 or how it is at 18. I agree. 25 is way better age. It's just facts. But again, there's a lot of dumbass with 50, 40, 60. So at the same time, I think if you are, this will sound really bad, but I think if you are female, you should not vote just because they are very impressionable. They hear lies and believe in it, and that's horrible. because you vote for the crooks ones, how it happens over and over again. And I think old people shouldn't vote too. If you don't work no more, you should not be able to vote because you are just going to vote for people who say they're going to help you out. So very selfish reasons. I think 25 upper for sure makes way more sense. And you have to more. I think you have to have jobs where you had at least more than the minimum wage, because if you have minimum wage you are very impressionable, you are not very smart. I'm not saying everybody, but in general that's how it goes. And you just believe in the news. Like, I think you believe in the news, you shouldn't vote too, but that's very hard to see how the people will say or not. But yeah, I think it will be way better with all these attributes.
We pull up to Mar-a-Lago, we go to the patio, and it's so I'm sitting here, you're sitting where Trump was.
Okay.
And here's Ye, and then here's this other guy whose name I forget. And then over here is Karen.
No, bro, you should be on Rumble. I'm on Rumble right now. Why are you on YouTube? YouTube is a matrix platform. You should not be on YouTube. I say all the time, go to Rumble. All my videos are on Rumble. Go check Rumble. Rumble is where free speech is where the matrix is not in control. Like, go to Rumble.
Karen Giorno, who's this Zio person, political operator,
of course.
Yeah, cha-ching.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is the table, and it's about as big as this table, maybe even smaller.
Yeah.
And it's Thanksgiving. It's 2 days before Thanksgiving. It's also, and I told Ye on this on the plane because I'm a little autistic about the dates. I said, it's kind of weird. This is the day Kennedy was killed, November 22nd.
Oh shit.
22.
Okay.
It's also weird, the numerology, because Donda 2 came out on 2/22/22, February 22nd, 22.
Oh wow.
And then the dinner was 11/22/22. So just kind of weird how the dates lined up.
It's my mom's birthday too.
Mm,
Fucking crazy.
there you go.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about Kennedy as well, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
My dog came to my house that day.
Fuck your dog, nigga. Sorry. Okay. So you're there, 11/22, 22. So yeah.
Right. So it's 2 days before Thanksgiving, and they had a Thanksgiving special for us.
Oh,
So
okay.
they give us the menu, but they say we got Thanksgiving turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes, and so we order and everything. And initially, it's funny because I noticed that Trump is trying to do the black voter pitch. It was almost kind of like secondhand embarrassment because it's like you're talking to the number one rock star in the 21st century.
Yeah.
And he's telling them like, hey, how about these opportunity zones? And I'm like, bro, come on, man. It's like that Jonah Hill movie. You see that, those You People? It was like that with the parents. I'm like, bro.
Yeah. Come on, man.
He's not that kind of black person. He's not Larry Elder,
Yeah.
And so, and the thing is, Ye is very shy. I don't know if you know this, but it's one of the most endearing things about him because he's a real human being.
Yeah.
As much as he has this ego, which is deserved, and I love.
Yeah.
He's also a little shy, a little anxious, apprehensive. I noticed, which I like because it shows that there's a real guy in there.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he's kind of quiet. I could tell he's maybe a little nervous. He's a little shy, and so he's not really talking. And Trump gives him the iPad and says, "Oh, we have the music here. This iPad controls the music. Pick any one of your songs you like." And Ye puts on Say You Will from 808s.
Okay.
And then he puts on Stronger, I think, because that's his number one most streamed song.
Yeah.
And anyway, so we all start getting more comfortable. Trump starts talking to this guy next to me. And then me and Trump have this long back and forth for I would say 30 or 45 minutes because, Ye's not really talking too much. This other guy's not so interesting. Trump doesn't like Karen because there's history there. And so me and Trump are just going back and forth. We're having this great conversation.
What y'all talk about?
So
if you could.
Yeah, totally. So we talked about Truth Social and Twitter. Elon Musk had just bought Twitter. And he's asking me, what do you think about that? And I'm start rattling off stats and facts, and he's real impressed. And then, we had this big strategy meeting the day before, me, Ye, and this other guy. And I was telling Ye how we're going to beat Trump on the debate stage. And I swear I knew this was going to happen. I knew that Ye was going to tell me to say that to him. And I'm thinking, please don't make me say that. Like, because that's our strategy. Like, that's our playbook. But, you know, he's like so childlike and eager. Like, he just wants to say it. And I'm like, bro, like, that's our playbook. We can't say that. So he's pressing me. He's like, no, tell me what you were saying the other day. And Trump is like, you know, go ahead, you know, tell me. And I said, Mr. President, I said, I think you're like the greatest American that ever lived. I said, I'm just a 20, at that time, 20, I'm still 24, I guess. I'm just a 24-year-old guy. I think you're the greatest American. I love you. Like, I got nothing to say to you other than thank you. I'm not here to criticize you. And he says, no, come on, don't be bashful. Tell me. And so I start telling him about DeSantis. I said, you got to attack DeSantis. I said, this guy's a traitor.
Okay.
I said, and you know what? I said, all these influencers are stabbing you in the back right now. I said, all these Twitter influencers, because this was a couple days after he called DeSantis DeSanctimonious for the first time.
Ah, okay.
And everyone was giving him heat for that.
Yeah.
I said, don't listen to them. I said, you are right. I said, and he deserves that and then some. I said, because you are the reason DeSantis is governor. I said, and the only reason
that's a fact
that he didn't say on the debate stage that he was going to serve his full term is because he's going to challenge you. I said, so your statement and what you said at the rally, I said, I love that. Like,
guys, we're going to stop right here because I need to go to sleep, wake up tomorrow morning. But it was a great video, and I just kind of regret not starting sooner because we definitely could have. And I just was waiting for an hour to start streaming, but it's what it is. I'm gonna start now. I'm kind of tired, and maybe we'll come back another day or later on. As always, guys, keep on improving. Keep on going hard. Let's go, man. Don't be persuaded by the Matrix. Be careful and improve yourself. Never lie. Tell the truth. Let's break the Matrix. Well, see you.